What's up, guys? Welcome to another video, and it is time. It is time to rank the 50 mainline Hot Wheels models that came out in 2025, and we're gonna rank them from 50 to 1. So, let's get into this. So first of all, if you haven't watched my 2024 new model rankings, we're gonna be doing this pretty much the exact same way. So there's two ways we rank these. Number 50 is the worst, number 1 is obviously the best, and then also I go through tiers for this. So I go from F, D, C, B, A, and S, right? And then we're gonna look at the total of all these cars and where I rank them, and then we'll get an overall grade and an overall score. And then we can compare it to the 2024 new models and see, have we taken a step up this year or have we taken a step back this year? Tell me down below, what are your favorite models? I'm definitely gonna be loving to seeing all those comments. And also join the Discord. The link is in the channel and also in the description below. So if you wanna join, you wanna talk with me and the rest of this community, certainly join that. So let's go ahead and get into this. Okay, so starting with the F tier, I have the two cars in the F tier, and the worst model of this year for me is actually a licensed model. It came out very early in the year. It's the Morgan Super 3. For me, some cars just don't need to be Hot Wheels, okay? And the Morgan Super 3 is a great example of that. 3 wheels, you got a small wheel in the back. The deco on it also is horrendous. And I don't understand why this needed to be a Hot Wheels when especially you have one in Matchbox already. Not every single car needs to be a Hot Wheels car. This car was probably one of the biggest peg warmers, especially when it comes to like the licensed cars of this past year. So for me, avoid these type of cars. They're not Hot Wheels, okay? They just don't fit Hot Wheels. And to me, it's the worst model of the year. Not too far in front of this model is number 49, also an F tier. It's decidedly Go. This is one of the ugliest looking cars I've seen in recent years. There's bad small wheels. The proportions on this car are totally bad. And I haven't even mentioned the worst part of all, it's just an 8-ball that's like stuck on top of the car, right? It looks absolutely horrible. To me, Xperia Motors, it just shows why do we even have this line anymore? So these two cars here are the F tier. They're the two worst models of the year. And I will add, if these cars were in last year's mainline, they would be the two worst models there as well. Let's move into the D tier, and we're starting off hot. No pun intended, because the hot wienings, the hot sauce car, comes in at number 48. Really, really bad idea to me. You just have a bottle of hot sauce on wheels. It's not really that interesting looking. It's not creative in any sort of way, in my opinion. Yeah, it looks like it's kind of like a rocket, you know, the hot sauce bottle, but I don't know, we have the carbonator already, which is a bottle on wheels. I don't think we needed a hot sauce car. And again, just like the Xperia Motors, I said, these food cars also, they need to be done with. Been saying this on the channel for a long time. Get rid of these things. They're not creative. They're not interesting. People don't want them. Number 47. Now, this was a car that I think they're trying to take real life cars and try to mod them up a little bit to make them like more Hot Wheels. And some of them work and some of them did not. And this one to me just didn't work. The Drift Ender, it's a Land Rover, but like a drift build of it. I don't like the colors on this thing. I don't like the proportions. I don't like the idea of it. Like a Land Rover becoming a drift car, like that just doesn't really work at all. I think the design looks weird. Next up, number 46, we've got the Tesla Cyber Quad. The Tesla Cyber Quad is a Tesla, it's an EV, and it's a quad. I mean, just three things I think a lot of people don't like, all wrapped into one. Not a model I like whatsoever. And again, big time peg warmer this year, not a fan. Number 45 is gonna be Feline Lucky. Again, just because you can put it on wheels doesn't mean you should put it on wheels. I think that's the main takeaway here. It's got a little feature. It's another Xperia motor. I think it has a hand that goes up and down and up and down and up and down and up and down. I don't think that's a very interesting feature. You know, I mean, those cats are cool, but like, why do you need to put them on wheels? Why do you need to put them on wheels? It's a really weird shape. It's a tall model. And again, these cars that I'm talking about here, these last 6 cars I've talked about, they all peg warm. So it's not something that's just on me that like, oh, I don't like this car, but like the greater population did like it. They don't like it, okay? They don't like it. Maybe at Mattel, you guys think it's cool, right? But we don't think it's cool, right? And you should produce stuff that people will actually buy, all right? This is not stuff people will buy. Number 44, now this is one that I think some people did like. It's a long block. Now, I didn't like the block car from last year. I think it was the small block, if I remember correctly. I wasn't really a huge fan of it. I think I've rated it a C tier. This one right here, I also didn't really like too much. They made it into a wagon. You know, it's got that kind of wood look to it. It just looks incomplete. I'm just not really into these like block cars, and I think, to be honest with you, it's looking like it's gonna be a trend for them going forward. And 4 more in the D tier. Number 43 is Little Roar. Just like I was talking with the Drift Ender, a Mini Cooper that's like kind of an off-road sort of Baja type of truck, to me that just doesn't work as well. Now I think it's a little bit better than the Drift Ender, because I have seen some like rally versions of Austin Mini Coopers before. But again, I'm just not really a fan of this thing. Again, peg warmed a lot. I don't like the wheels. I don't like the color combination on this thing at all either. Number 42 is Haulerback, the new tow truck. And how far have tow trucks fallen? You know, you look at a tow truck, a fancy tow truck like Toe Jam, and how great that one was. And now you see some of the tow trucks that they're doing recently here. This one's really, really pathetic. It's like a newer version of Toe Jam, clearly. You know, it's got that same sort of stance that Toe Jam has. It doesn't have the 6 wheels, 3 axles that Toe Jam had. To me, it's just a mess. It's just an absolute mess of a casting. The body proportions don't look good on this thing, and even the detailing on it, I don't really like at all. Number 41, and this might be a little bit controversial to some fantasy fans, but I don't like the mod mill. Just because, again, you can do it, doesn't mean you should. And a lot of these fusion castings that we're starting to see here, it's a big mixed bag, and this one to me is one that didn't work. Number 1, the roof on this car looks smushed, okay? And there's like no window for a driver to look through, right? It looks really like you just took 2 cars and you just put them together. The body of this car just looks ugly. I don't like the stance on this thing at all. I don't like the asymmetric engine that this thing has, and the colorways were poor as well. And just because you have one iconic Hot Wheels and one Hot Wheels that's kind of like getting to that status, that doesn't mean you have to put them together, okay? Just let them be on their own. And I also will say this twin mill obsession that Hot Wheels is on, this twin mill kick, we don't need a twin mill every year. We just don't, let alone 3 of them. And I'll get to those other ones, which I think are a bit better later in this video. But let's leave this in 2025, and let's not bring this into 2026. And then number 40 is gonna be the Ford Model A. Look, I get it, it's a real life car, right? It's based on, I think, one of the designer's cars or someone that they're close with, right? And they wanna make their real car. That's all good or whatever. I just don't like it. Okay, these old like 20s and 30s cars, I'm just really not into. And then you add the stance on top of it where this car sits super high. It just doesn't work for me. So with number 39, we're now in the C tier. So these are cars that I think are just okay. I didn't really buy any of these, I don't believe, but I think they're just okay. Number 39 is the Honda Motocampo. And I think that the motorcycles this year were a little bit better than in years past. I'm usually not a fan of motorcycles at all, but at least this Honda Motocampo is actually pretty unique. Isn't it like a box almost sort of thing? Number 39, the Alfa Romeo TI Super. I don't like this thing. I think it's really bare bones. I think this thing has a lot to be desired in the details department. It looks unfinished. It looks unfinished. It looks unfinished. It looks childish. It looks cheap. And then when you look at some of the decos that they put on this thing, it just doesn't help. I think this type of car would look a little bit better if it was in darker liveries rather than these really light liveries that they chose for this thing. Number 37 is the Bat Boat. I can only rate a boat so high. I'm sorry. Like, it's a boat. Now, I think it's a decent looking boat. I think the proportions on this thing are nice. I think that the fact that it's Batman makes it pretty cool. It's something different. We haven't really seen a boat that's a Batmobile before. But again, it's a boat. I mean, do people want boats in Hot Wheels? Not really. They never traditionally sold well either. Number 36. Now, a lot of people like this one as like an Xperia Motors. I'm gonna put the cone shaker here. At least with the cone shaker, what I can say is that it's a cone. So at least it's like related to Hot Wheels a little bit. I like the feature where you can stack them. I think that's kind of unique here. I don't think it should be a Hot Wheels per se. I just hope they don't go like super overboard with this casting going into the future. But like as like a little novelty, I guess that's fine. Again, it's a cone. How high am I gonna really rate this thing? Number 35, hot take here. I'm putting the McLaren W1. I think the McLaren W1, I actually have this casting in my collection, and it won't be staying in my collection for much longer. This proportion on this thing just don't work. It just doesn't work. It doesn't look like the McLaren F1. It looks too narrow, and it looks long. It doesn't look good. It doesn't look like a McLaren. It doesn't look exotic. It looks bad. Like, it just looks bad. It's another one of these cars, like, I think the Aston Martin Valhalla kind of also had the same sort of issues as this car right here. It just doesn't look cool. If I had to pick the biggest disappointment of the year, I think it's the McLaren W1. When you look at the car in a picture and then you compare to what actually came out, it was a very, very disappointing model. Number 34 is the Buick Riviera. Just boring. Boring, bro. I think this is a casting they should have debuted in a lowrider livery, not in like stock colorways. I like stock cars for licensed cars, to be clear. But for this car, it just doesn't work. It just looks bland, boring. Next up, fantasy fans are not gonna like that I have this opinion on this thing, but I'm putting the El Segundo Rally. Again, just because you had the car in the past doesn't mean you need to make a second version of it, okay? El Segundo Coupe doesn't need to be a rally car. It doesn't need to be a rally car. It doesn't fit it at all. It does not fit that type of car. Now, granted, you could say, oh, well, Porsches, they don't, they're not really rally cars and they look good in rally liveries. Okay, sure, but again, not every car is just gonna have that same fate. And the El Segundo Coupe doesn't look great in a rally livery. This car looks a lot more narrow than like the regular El Segundo Coupe. Just keep this thing as a street car. And if you were gonna do this casting, don't do it like a few years after you've released El Segundo Coupe, right? We don't need to have a whole line of El Segundo doing all these different functions of a car, right? We don't need all these modded El Segundo Coupes, all right? Just push the one that you already have, the original one. Make that one feel important. Don't put that one in 5-packs. How about that? Put that thing in the Mainline. Don't put it in 5-packs, okay? Number 32, another one that fantasy fans love, but I just don't like. It's a street streaker. The back end of that car ruins it. It makes the car have like this unnecessary fat, and it makes this thing look really wide. The rest of the car looks okay, but the thing is, why would I need that car when I have Mach Speeder, which is better? I think the way it looks in Let's Race, in like those cartoons, I think that looks a lot better than the actual way that they did this Hot Wheels car. Next up is gonna be the key swap, and this issue with this car comes down to the livery. The livery is terrible. Art Cars ruining another decent Hot Wheels casting. I think this car would have probably been a B tier, but because it's in this livery, I can't rate it that high because it hasn't been seen to its fullest potential. So I think this is a model that's gonna grow on me, but this first edition, it's not staying in my collection. I did buy it, but it's not staying in my collection. I will be getting rid of it. Next up at number 30, I got the Porsche 911 Turbo Cabriolet. This one was kind of like in between. It could have been a B tier, it could have been a C tier. Like, I could definitely be talked into this one as a B tier, but like, it just doesn't work as a convertible to me. I think that's like the biggest thing. It is a Porsche. I like Porsches, but I like these type of cars more hardtop than convertible. And just for convertibles in general, I just don't think a ton of them look that good. Next up, number 29, the Amaru GTC. Such a mixed bag on this one. When I first saw it in pictures, I hated it. I thought it looked terrible. And then I started seeing it in pictures more, and then it kind of grew on me a little bit. And then like I saw like the first edition of it, and like one day I would like it, one day I wouldn't like it at all, like when I actually acquired the thing. And then it came out in the second color, and I think the second color looks a lot better because it has the darker wheels and just fits it better. Just kind of middle of the road is kind of where it ends up. Number 28, and probably the second biggest disappointment after the McLaren W1, the BMW 635i. This wide body BMW, when I first saw it in the previews, I was like, wow, this thing is gonna be spectacular. This is one of the ones I'm looking forward to the most this year. And then it came out. It just doesn't work. I think the livery does it no favors at all, especially the orange one. That orange one is awful. That orange one is like a D tier car. The bad rims, plus like the terrible orange car that it has on it. I think the black one looks a bit better because it's got better rims on it. It's also got that livery that just works better on a wide body car. So it just kind of bounces out to like be in the C tier. And then the final C tier is gonna be the Polestar TRX. The Polestar TRX, to me, of all those Polestars that were on the podium, like competing to possibly be like the next Hot Wheels car, I think it was the worst of those three by some margin. But I still had hope for it because it looked really cool animated like that. I thought that the surfboards would be a really cool aspect to that car. And then you got the real thing. It's too big, it sits too high, the body's too like thin. It's like too narrow. Like when you look at it on the side, it's got like this really weird kind of side view to it. The surfboards, they're just like molded into the casting, but they don't even look pronounced. Like they're very like faintly on the bed of the truck. The more I look at this casting, the more I don't like it. It's B tier time, so let's get into that. And at number 26, surprisingly, in a huge surprise, in a Spira motor. But you know what? The thing is with Quick Chat, the telephone, the actual like toy, has wheels. So I kind of like look at this casting more in the same realm as like the Radio Flyer wagon, or if they did like one of those like Little Tikes buggies, because it is a toy with wheels and you're making it into a Hot Wheels. And the way they did it, this thing is pretty well detailed. I like the feature it has. It fits the car kind of well. Did I buy this thing for my collection? No. But can I say that the execution, at least, of this thing was pretty good? Yes. Next up is gonna be, I'm just gonna call it the Jaguar V12 Coupe. I know that the name of it's like a lot longer than that. I think this thing is solid. It's got a really nice stance to it. I love the width. I think the deliveries on this thing were a little bit boring. I think that this car had a little bit more details, maybe in the headlights and at the back, and then also like on the roof. Like some of those details look a little bit awkward, and I think they could have been more detailed in certain places. I don't think the liveries and the colors that they put this thing do any favors, but I can at least look at the casting and be like, hey, this thing is not bad. Number 24 is a Lotus Cortina. Now this car is actually done pretty simply, just like the Alfa Romeo was. But what I can say about this guy, the clean look, the simple look looks a little bit better on this type of car than does like the Alfa Romeo. I also like the fact that this car has a little more curvage to it, whereas the Alfa Romeo is like actually quite boxy, and I just don't think it works very well. I think the proportions of this car are a lot better. It's not too big, it's actually kind of small. It's got the small wheels, so it kind of works on it. Again, is it exciting to me? Not really. It is boring, but I can say it's like well executed, and if some people who like British cars, you know, like this thing, then I think that's fine. Next up at number 23 is gonna be the Optimus Prime. Now, it's really cool that there's Transformer cars for Hot Wheels, and I think they did a decent job at this Optimus Prime car. I'm not really a big like Transformers fan, but I think the way they did this, the fact that you can get a Transformers Optimus Prime truck now for $1 and you can put it down your Hot Wheels tracks, I think is really great. Number 22, Porsche 928S. I think the fact that they're finally redoing the Porsche 928 casting is great. The old one that they released like in the 90s was just not really proportioned correctly, and this one fixes a lot of those issues. I think the main problem I have with this car is just a little bit bland, and it's just a little bit undetailed. It looks like a little bit unfinished, okay? And I think that this thing would have benefited a little bit more with like detailing at maybe like the front and the back rather than having like a side deco on it. I don't like the rims on that thing. I think they should have gone with some rims that were maybe a little bit more aggressive, a little bit more sporty, rather than going with Aerodisc wheels, because that kind of made the car look a little bit more vintage, and it just doesn't really work on the car. Number 21, the Maserati Shamal. Really interesting choice. This is not a Maserati I was even aware about before it became a Hot Wheels car, so like I kind of like that. I like learning about some new cars when a die-cast brand puts them out. And I think that this car was executed actually pretty decently. Like, two good colors, red and black, simple liveries. You didn't do too much with them. It was definitely one that I was interested to see in person for the first time. It's quite a boxy car actually, and it's not quite as big as you might think. Pretty cool little like 80s Italian car, decent. The Honda RC30, this might be the highest I've ever rated a bike in a very long time. I think this one looks cool. I think this one's cool. Did I buy it myself? Again, no. I'm not really a motorcycle guy. But this thing looks sporty. I think the thing's proportions aren't that bad. Usually with motorcycles, they look like too big or something. But this one here, it actually didn't really look that way. I think the liveries they put it in were fine. I think it's cool. It's a cool sport bike, and it's in the top 20. Think about that, a motorcycle on my list in the top 20. Number 19, the Ferrari 365 GT4 Competizione. Did I get that right? This car right here, I don't really understand why they chose this as one of the first Ferraris to put in the main line. This was a casting that they did do back in like the early 2000s. So it was a car that already existed in 1/64 scale for Hot Wheels. I think it has some cool detailing. I like the side exhaust. I think that side exhaust detail is pretty cool on this car. I think that the deco that it has is okay. I'm not really the biggest fan of these racing liveries, and especially when you're talking about like a red car with like blue accents on it and white accents on it, just doesn't really work for me a lot. But I think that the casting is decent. I think the proportions are good. Number 18 is the Formula One car. Really cool to see Formula One in Hot Wheels. I think when you look at the casting itself, it's solid, right? It fits this generation of Formula One. They did a good job on those liveries considering the lack of budget that you're probably gonna have. If you want more premium Formula One cars, they have that too. But this right here, man, I think for $1, solid. Number 17, the Ford Mustang GTD. Dude, this thing with that big ass spoiler, it just works. This thing looks sporty. This thing looks fast. I like the stance on this thing. I like the size on this thing. Did I buy it for my personal collection? No, because I'm not a Mustang person. Obviously, the lore behind this car in real life, this thing is a powered demon. These sort of cars that have those kind of special kind of features to them, that special kind of aura to them, I always think it's a good choice to make them a Hot Wheels car. Number 16, now this is a car I did not expect to rank as high as it did, but it kind of grew on me over time, and I can see like the long-term potential that this car has, and that's Super Twin Mill. I think Twin Mill with the wide body with the big spoiler, in theory, and when I saw it for the first time, I was like, brother, right? But then I actually saw it in real life and I acquired it into my collection, and I like it, okay? I don't like the blue like base that it has on this thing. Like, it looks ridiculous, looks childish, it just doesn't work on this thing. But I could see, okay, if we black out the base, we black out the spoiler there, right? We put this thing in a cool livery, it could actually all come together and be a really cool fantasy casting. So this would be one, like, I'm not surprised if I don't keep the first editions of this thing, but later down the road, maybe they release a version that I think looks really good, and then I'll end up adding it into my collection. Number 15, and I talked about this in the underrated models list, I am not an EV fan at all, but the Cupra is a nice car. It's well proportioned. I think that the liveries that they chose, it matches the real life car, right? At least it is the real life car's liveries. I think that this car is really slept on. It looks fast. I think the wheel choice, I don't usually like those wheels, but they work on this Cupra, okay? And I think that going forward, you could do some really unique liveries with this thing. Let's see if this Cupra can actually kind of turn the tide on these like EV race cars that they've released over the past few years. Like, for example, like the Nissan Leaf being one of them, and it didn't really sell like too well, especially after its first year. Let's see if the Cupra can kind of break that trend. But I think that the Cupra, it's solid. I think it's good. It's 15 on my list, and it's a B tier. 14 is gonna be the Mazda MX-5 Miata, the cyberpunk one that won the Hot Wheels Legends Tour. Really cool looking, really unique looking. It is a bit small, so that's good, right? So it fits the actual proportions of a Mazda Miata. It's got some good detailing to it. I wish that the roof was like kind of done a little bit differently, like it's a little bit plasticky and such. But I think overall, really cool looking car, good liveries on it. I don't think it hits all the details that the real life cyberpunk one has, and I think that's quite tough to capture when you're looking at a $1 model. But I think this car looks cool. They did it nice. Number 13, and the fact that I saw this thing hanging on the pegs is a travesty. The Renault E-Space. The Renault E-Space is so ridiculous that it's so cool, right? It's one of these kind of minivan looking cars, and then they put like a big engine in it, right? So it's got like a lot of real life lore to this thing. And then it's got that big wing. It just looks cool. It's just unique, it's just different, right? And it's nice to see like a change of pace on a car like this. Next up is gonna be the Kia Evo 6. And again, if you're gonna do an EV, make it look cool. A Kia 6 on its own is not a cool car. However, when you make it a wide body like this, you give it some really cool features, you make that body look different, and then you put a cool anime livery on this thing, oh man. Now you got me kind of looking now twice at this thing. And this first edition in purple, it just works, man. It just works. It's exciting to see a Korean car in the Hot Wheels mainline this year. And actually just in general, between these two EVs, the Cupra and this one, we get a Spanish car and we get a Korean car in the mainline. How cool is that? Good casting. I like this guy, and it's definitely a close A even for me. It's A tier time. Let's get into this. Number 11 is gonna be Hotorado. Hotorado, a Japanese style hot rod. What a cool combination it is. Now, what does hold it back is that A, I think is a little bit too long, but B, and the bigger issue, it just doesn't have enough weight to it. If it had more weight to it, I would be inclined to like it a little bit more than I like it right now. But overall, if you just look at this car, it's got a great look to it. I love the first version that it has, and that, you know, slate blue, that matte blue, grayish blue color works really good in on it. And I think this is a really exciting model going forward. I can't wait to see some of the liveries they go with it. I hope they kind of put some more aggressive, muscly, dark kind of liveries on this thing, because it could be a really cool casting for Hot Wheels going forward. Number 10, Twin Dorado. So Twin Dorado does make the top 10, but it's only at number 10. I like the fact that they took Diora, not Diora 2, but Diora, and you mix it with the twin mill, and they did it kind of tastefully. Like it's like 75% Diora and like 25% twin mill, and that I think works well, right? It's more of a Diora than a twin mill. I like the engines in the back. I think that's a pretty unique, cool feature there. I like the fact that the bed of the truck has like the front of the twin mill on. I think that's a really unique, cool detail. I think what kind of holds it back, number one, I don't love the color on it. I think the color could have been a lot better than this kind of like, you know, brownish yellow color, but that's something that can be definitely solved in the future. And then the other thing I don't really love about it is I don't think that the plastic body works the best on this car. I think this car would look better with a metal body and a plastic base. That would just kind of give it a little bit more of like a muscly sort of look. It just looks a little bit too cheap for me to be able to put it a little bit higher. But overall, good concept, good casting. I like it. I'll be tracking it going forward. Number 9, the Peugeot 9X8 Hypercar. The Peugeot fixes a lot of the issues that I had with the Cadillac last year. If you remember last video, I hated the Cadillac. I think it looked stiff, it was too narrow, it didn't look good. But this Peugeot, on the other hand, fixed a lot of the issues. Number 1, the detailing of it is a little bit better. I like some of the brakes on this car it has. Number 2, the fact it's wider. It works a lot better for this type of car, okay? And I just think that, you know, you look at the livery on this thing, it's very impressive that they were able to do a car like this just for $1 model. Really exciting looking car. I wonder what they're gonna do with it going forward. I'd love to see like a traditional Peugeot livery. I love the fact that we have Peugeot back. Isn't that cool? We haven't seen a Peugeot in many, many years. So really cool that we have this hypercar. It's a great casting. I like it a lot. Next up is gonna be the 96 Viper GTS. And they are on a hot streak with these Vipers, just doing them really, really clean. You had the 92 Viper in the Mainline a couple years ago. You had the, I think it was the 03 Viper in the Fast and Furious line that I think looked really great. Now you got this 96 Viper, and this one's a hard top too. And it came out in some great colors, the white and the blue. 2 perfect colors for this car right here. Great casting, simple. You just do it well and you let the casting speak for itself. That's a great way to approach these type of cars. This is a classic car. It will sell itself. Just put it in the best place to succeed, and that's what they did. So great job by Hot Wheels on this guy. Next up, number 7 is gonna be the Gordon Murray T33. They're doing these Gordon Murrays really well. The T50 I had as number 5 from last year, and this one right here I have at number 7. So this casting right here, I like the first edition color, and that gray looks really good. It just fits that car really well. Portion on this car, really cool. This car is done really tastefully. Simple, let the car speak for itself. Just do it right, get the proportions of it right, get those kind of cuts and lines of the car right. It will sell itself. Great casting, I like it, big fan. And now we're here in the top 6. Number 6, one that's risen, Gone Mad. Gone Mad looks really cool. I like the fact that you took a wagon casting and you just made it cool. You added an exposed engine. You made it wide, okay? You made it feel fast. You made it look muscly. You made it look aggressive, okay? This is the type of casting that I want. This is the type of I want to see, all right, from Hot Wheels, from some of these fantasy castings. This one right here, I think it's the best wagon possibly they've ever done from the fantasy point of view. I would have to kind of look back on it and see if this would be, you know, an opinion I would stick by and look at some of the other castings. But hot take, I think it is better than Jackhammer. I think it's better than Jackhammer. I like the proportions of this car a lot more. It's not quite as long as like a Jackhammer is, but it has the width. The McMurtry Sperling. The McMurtry Sperling. Dude, this car in real life is so cool. This thing can drive upside down. How insane is that, right? And I love the fact that this thing is a Hot Wheels. It deserves to be a Hot Wheels. And I like how they really kept true to like the original car. It's small. Yes, it's very small. But the real car is small. So it needs to be that sort of size. When you look at the livery of this car, it's very accurate to the actual car that came out. And I love the lines and cuts that they did with this thing. I think this car is great. Now, it's kind of a shame this thing isn't gonna be good in the tracks because if it was, it would fit the real life car a lot better in that respect, but really stoked about this thing. I don't really know what the future of this car holds, but this first edition is really, really cool. Number 4, and it's the second Ferrari on this list, it's the SF90. The SF90 is just done well. Done in red, good proportions, the size of this car is good. You look at like the way the cuts and the angles of this car, it fits the actual real life casting. Smart choice, okay? Definitely the type of car that Hot Wheels should be doing, especially when you're reintroducing Ferrari. This is a very prominent Ferrari right now. I'm just glad that we're gonna get cool stock Ferraris going forward. Number 3 is the other Ferrari. It is the Ferrari F40, the Competizione edition. Excuse my Italian there. So stoked that we have a new Ferrari F40 casting, even though it's not a stock F40. So it's different than the F40 that was from the 90s, 80s, and 90s that Hot Wheels had and they ran with until the license went away. So it's a slightly different casting, right? But it's wide, it's got a good stance to it, the color is right on it, it's got some cool detailing, especially when you look on the back end of the vehicle. This thing was definitely really liked and scalped out. Unfortunately, it was very difficult to find this car, especially this first edition in red. It now has a recolor in yellow, so they're doing it in very simple colors. They're not overthinking it, just again, let the F40 sell itself, because it will. And I like how just beefy this car is, and aggressive this car is. It just fits this thing so well. Now, moving on to the S tier, we have 2 castings, 2 fantasy castings, and I went back and forth all year on which one's the best, but about a month ago, I did settle on which one I've gone with. They released around the same time. Number 2 is gonna be Slideburn. Slideburn is phenomenal. Slideburn, if it was released last year, would be the model of the year, okay? I love the colors of this car. The first edition in this pinkish color just fits perfectly. They're trying to do a modern redline sort of casting, and this thing, it just gets all of the cool aspects of a redline type of car, but it does it in a modern way too, so it actually doesn't have some of the flaws that some of those original redline cars had. I think this thing, look at this engine piece on this thing. Look at the originality this car has. Look at these intakes that this thing has. There's just so much going on here. I also love the size of this thing. I like the fact this thing can go on the tracks. This thing is superb. Superb. So if you're a fan of redline Hot Wheels, or just Hot Wheels history, or Hot Wheels originals in general, Slideburn is that dude, man. Slideburn is an absolute banger casting. It's an S tier, but it's not number 1. The number 1 casting is the Hako Type D. The Hako Type D is a game-changing sort of casting. It is a classic for me. Not too complex of a casting. An 80s JDM tuner, right? But some of the cool little details that it has, these cool little features that this car has on the body, like some of the brakes in with the window piece that they did here. Brian Zhao, he killed it with this thing. I like how this has that retro futuristic look. It kind of reminds me a little bit of like that Hyundai N, and that kind of DeLorean kind of look too, that you know the DeLorean kind of had, where it was a little like futuristic looking. I think the Hako kind of has that aspect to it, but it remains true as a JDM car as well at the same time. Such a great combination. The white version's cool, the red version's really cool too, and I can't wait to see this thing going forward. I hope it gets so many great liveries. This is a casting I could see myself collecting. Maybe not every version of, because I'm sure there's gonna be some stinkers here and there, but it's gonna be one that I'm gonna be tracking. And this is a casting. This is a type of car that's gonna contend for the model of the decade. This is a car that's gonna be able to contend for that honor as well. So keep your eye on this guy. It's one of the classic Hot Wheels. Let's see what they do with this thing going forward. But an absolute banger for any JDM fan. A must have in your club.